Hey there, and welcome to Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. I'm Power Coach Alishia, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, educational, and transformational speaking and life coaching with a twist of tough mama bear, no fluff, no hand-holding, no bullshit love. I specialize in helping women step into their personal power, unleash their inner badass, and put themselves first without feeling guilty, unapologetically authentic. And today we're talking about automatic programming that causes you stress and pain. Hi, Amber. All right, so if you are watching this on replay, just drop hashtag replay in the comments for me, please. If you are live with me, say hello. Hi, Latia. Oh my gosh. Hashtag replay. I must love my pink and black tank tops. I need to wear different tank tops. All right. We're getting this going. So again, today we are talking about automatic programming that causes you stress. Hi, Lois. And pain, too. All right. Last thing to do is share. We're almost there. Yay, people are starting to get on here. Woody woot, pooty poot. Hi, Kellyanne. Hi, LaRonda. Whoa, why are there so many letters? All right. Hi, Maya. Hi, Teresa. Okay, so my voice does not want to be active today. So we'll see how powerful I can be today. Hi, Jana. Message just got out. Checking the watch parties. All right. So I was talking to... Actually, it was my friend the other day. And there was a situation where this friend made a decision that, okay, let me see how to put this, right? Anonymity is really important. However, you also have to know the story so it makes sense in this example of automatic programming or subconscious programming. Actually, let me start before that. Hi, Marcy. Okay, so when you are, let's say, watching TV and you're on your phone and you're having a conversation all at the same time, when you are doing that, you are training your subconscious mind to operate, hi Mary, to operate in the background without you actively controlling it or paying attention, right? So what happens is the more often that you are doing multiple things with your conscious, your subconscious can automatically be doing the other things. So if you're actively talking, then your subconscious is listening to the TV and scrolling Facebook or texting, right? And if you are paying attention to like actively texting, then your subconscious is responding to the person talking and listening to the show. Does this make sense? So when you're taking this action, you're teaching your subconscious that to take over, right? And to lead the show. Hi, Jillian. And so the biggest problem with this is when you're in a situation where you are making this decision, you end up making that decision in the same moment, and you don't really realize it because you've created this quote unquote monster that automatically does things because that's how you train it every day. So let me give you another like real life example. So it's a situation where in this situation, this person leaves with another person, right, of the opposite sex. And when they leave with the person of the opposite sex, Nothing happens. And they're married, all of that, right? Nothing happens that first night, right? They're just fighting with their partner, so they leave with this other person. Nothing happens that first night, but then the next day, they cheat on the partner that they were fighting with this other person they left with, right? And what happened when you asked this person, did you do it as revenge, right? No, of course I didn't. I wasn't thinking about that, they say. I wasn't thinking about that. Well, you weren't consciously thinking about that, but because you, as a person, has developed your subconscious to be so much stronger that subconsciously it was revenge. But because you weren't paying attention, you think, oh, I didn't do that for that reason. So that's one example. Another example is, and I can use Daniel, because this is how we got into this conversation. I got to think about what we were talking about in this example. So he was consciously not upset about a specific situation. He's like, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for talking to me. I feel good, right? However, subconsciously, he took action that said he was mad. The way he acted, the way he treated me, the way he talked to me. But consciously, he would say, I'm good. I'm not mad. And he didn't seem like it when I looked into his face, right? He wasn't saying one thing and then like acting a different way in that moment. But any action that he took was of more, not necessarily anger, but mad, right? And so when talking to him about it, it's like, I don't know why I did that. He says, I didn't feel mad. I didn't feel like I was, oh my God, this bra is rubbing on my tattoo. I didn't feel like I was angry with you or like, I was lying. But then I acted like that. So he goes, I must have been mad then. Subconscious programming, right? So his subconscious took over and all the action that he took was of somebody who was mad, but consciously he said, I'm not mad. I don't believe this to be true. I trust you. Blah, 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 whatever it was. Consciously, those were the things that he was saying, and then subconsciously he was doing, it was completely opposite. So I want you to think about yourself, and I want you to think about where, recently, what was the last situation where you consciously believed one thing, but subconsciously took this action? Can you think of a situation like that? You don't really have to type it out because that'll take forever. Hi, Leah. Hi, Stacy. However, the reason why we're talking about this is because, it's like you're not like your conscious isn't passive, but your subconscious is passively taking action. And because you're not paying attention, then you're getting caught off guard. That is a great word, Jillian. So, what are you doing, one, to strengthen your subconscious programming in a negative way? You need to really start catching yourself with this, because if you don't, you are going to find that you are subconsciously making decisions that you don't agree with. And what happens when this happens is that you get mad at yourself. Why did I do that? God, I'm so stupid. Like, I would never do that, right? So then you're all frustrated with yourself because you made this decision, but you're mad because you knew better, right? But the truth is, you consciously know better, but your subconscious is what's taking over. And the problem is the action that's being had is a background action. It's not an active action. It's like not something you're actively thinking about doing or not doing. So therefore, when it happens, you're like, what the fuck? Right? And you're like, why did I do that? How many times have you had that situation with yourself? Hi, Anitra. We're like, why the hell did I do that? Why the hell did I say that? That's not what I meant. That's not what I wanted to say. Well, that's because your subconscious was like, woo, let's get it in there. Let's make this happen there, right? And it fucks it all up. So I don't want to make this all about multitasking, because that's not my point here. I'm not really talking about multitasking. And I'm also not talking about not being present. Although, if you were focused on one thing and you were present, it wouldn't strengthen this shitty subconscious programming, right? Because you'd be focused on one thing. So although if you did the opposite of that and you stayed focused and you weren't multitasking, it wouldn't strengthen your subconscious to do these things automatically, because it's automatic subconscious programming. Right? So that's the way to fix it. The fastest is, if you're having a conversation, stay in that conversation. Do not be on your phone. Do not have a TV on. Do not be cooking dinner, right? If it's an important conversation. But you have to be careful with surfacey conversations too, because you are still training your subconscious to take action over here while you're actively having a conversation over here. Hi, April. So I really want to encourage you just to stay focused on what you're doing so that you're not strengthening that in that way. Meanwhile, if you want to strengthen automatic programming to aid you, because this is all negative, by the way, this is not a good thing. And I know you might be thinking, oh, well, that's good for when da-da-da-da-da. No, but you have to train your subconscious for those da-da-da-da-da situations. And how you do that is what you're putting in your mind when you're actively doing something else. So when I'm showering consciously, I'm listening to personal development subconsciously. Okay? When I'm out walking consciously, I'm listening to personal development subconsciously. See what I mean? When I am... What else do I do? Hi, Shirley. Going to the bathroom consciously, I'm reading personal development subconsciously, or vice versa, right? Reading personal development consciously and going to the bathroom subconsciously. I know you might think that that's weird, but it's so much better than playing on your phone because you're feeding your mind. What else? I think those are some really, really good examples of ways that you could be feeding your subconscious with power to aid you in the future. And so what happens when you are feeding your mind in these ways subconsciously while actively doing something else, then when something pisses you off, like consciously, your subconscious will kick in and give you tools from that personal development. Do you see the difference? So the whole watch TV, have a conversation, and play on your phone is all bad because your subconscious is running amok. You're not controlling it at all. At all. There's like all of this shit going on. Reading stuff on people's Facebook while listening to some chick bitch out her husband on the show, let's say, and then you're having a conversation with your friend or your partner. It's so bad. So bad. Hi, Tammy. Because it's not really as much in those situations as what you're looking at on Facebook and what is on the TV. It's more in those situations how your subconscious is being taught how to take active or passive action while you're actively doing something else. That's more of what it's about in those situations. But when you're listening to personal development and taking a shower, you almost bounce back and forth between actively listening and then subconsciously showering, and then subconsciously listening and actively showering. Like, here's an example. Sometimes I'll be in the shower and I will put conditioner in my hands and I haven't washed my hair. That tells me that I'm actively listening, right? And subconsciously showering. Like, wait, what the fuck? I haven't even washed my hair. Or I will go to wash and I haven't shaved. Like, wait, I haven't shaved, right? Again, that tells me that I was actively listening. So those are situations where I'm actually showing myself that I wasn't paying attention to what I'm doing because I'm listening to that personal development. Yeah, listening to personal development while making dinner. I don't usually do that. I usually listen to Motown if I'm cooking. But yeah, exactly. All right, just wanted to check all the comments here. So today's Power Up with Power Coach Alishia isn't going to be long because you're going to be doing most of the work from today's training throughout the rest of your day. And what I want you to pay attention to is when you're active and passive, right? So what is going on? And I also want you to stop those random multi-actions. You got to stop them. Stop being on your phone while watching TV and having a conversation, or stop being on your phone while having a conversation. Because it's crazy, because you might be actively reading something somebody posts that's irritating you, right? And this person is talking to you. And then when you come back to active in this conversation, you're like, what? Why would you say that? But whatever they said wasn't even that big of a deal, right? But you were paying attention over here. So when you come back, your subconscious is now mad at this person for whatever they did or said. And that's because you weren't paying attention, right? You really weren't. You were paying attention to this over here. So I want to encourage you to put the phone down so that you're paying attention, right? One of the things that I have to be careful of is I've been listening to these trainings every day. Well, when I'm listening to these trainings, I need to be actively listening. And I get bored really easy because I feel like a lot of the content doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to, hi Bree, what I'm doing, where I'm at. Hi Celia, I'm already ahead of what they're talking about. So when I tend to passively listen, talk to my team, clear out my tasks for the day. But I know that there's information there that I can learn. I don't know everything, right? So I know that I can always be learning and growing, but I'm struggling with the fact that I'm annoyed by the fact that I'm wasting my time. You know, in a 90-minute to 2-hour training that I listen to, I'm getting 10 minutes of content. So I find myself passively listening a fuck ton while actively doing something else. So in this instance, it's quote unquote okay because I'm reminding my subconscious of things that maybe I stopped doing, right, as I'm listening to this training. So that's good, but it's bad because I'm also still training myself to be doing something else while doing something else. And again, teaching my subconscious to be stronger and take action that I didn't really want it to take. Okay, so go throughout today. No extras, right? Focus on what it is that you're doing. One thing that I notice when I'm hanging out with my friends, for the most part, we don't pick up our phones in conversation. If we pick up our phones and we're all hanging out, the conversation has died. And I think it's interesting that we're so much alike because generally if you're hanging out with a group of people, there's a couple of those assholes that just constantly disconnect in the conversation and they're not there, and it drives me crazy. It's like, why the fuck are we all together if you're just gonna be on your phone? But for the most part, my friends and I and Daniel, we don't do that. When we're together, we're together. And I just think it's, like I said, interesting because it never really has to be a conversation. We are actively hanging out. We are actively talking. We are actively spending that quality time together. And then let's say somebody goes pee and this person gets up to get a drink and then these two start a conversation. I may grab my phone, right? And look, because whatever the fuck they're talking about, I'm not interested in. Usually it's my buddy Billy's wife and Daniel talking about geeky shit, right? I'm like, oh my God. I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. I don't like Star Wars. I don't follow comic books, so I'm confused as fuck. So I'll disconnect, check on a couple of things, and then here comes Billy back, and then here comes this person back from getting a drink, and that person from checking on the kids, and then the phone's back down. I have a friend, Calvin. One of the things that I notice when Calvin is around all of us and we're all hanging out, he never keeps his phone face up. He keeps it face down, and I think it is a conscious thing that he does because if his phone's faced up, he can see all the notifications, right? And when you see notification, it makes you want to pick up your phone. So his phone's face down. So most of the time when we're all together, he doesn't even touch it once because he's not seeing that notification pop up and distracting him from the conversation. So it's something else that he does that I think is really awesome. Did you like that, Celia? And again, maybe it is subconscious, right? Maybe he puts it face down subconsciously, but I do notice that it's usually always face down and he hardly ever touches it. And I thought, ooh, that's a good thing. And so I started consciously turning my phone face down. So then it becomes a habit to pick it up instead of oh my God, it was a notification, so I need to pick it up and see what that was. Anitra says, my husband starts talking to me about something he read when I'm paying attention to something. Oh, when I'm paying this attention to something I'm doing, which is so annoying, it makes me ask what every time. Okay, so Daniel will do that. I'll be in the middle of like typing out an email or a big long post for Facebook or responding to my team in the middle of a conversation or texting somebody back, and he'll come in and interrupt what I'm doing. I'm not doing that in the middle of what he's saying. He comes and interrupts what I'm doing. And then, so I've spent a lot of time saying, when you come in and you notice that I'm doing something, I would greatly appreciate if you came in and said, hey, babe. And then once you saw what I was doing, just say, oh, I'll hold on one sec. And then let me finish what I'm doing. And then I'll look up at you. And then we can finish that conversation. So he's like, oh, okay, I can do it. See, I thought so. And so now he'll do that sometimes. He'll come in. He'll start a whole fucking conversation, and I can hear him. So out of respect, I could stop, but I feel like he's disrespecting my time. So I don't fucking stop. I keep doing what I'm doing, and it gets done. And then I'm not saying anything during this time. I'm not talking to him. I'm still doing whatever I was doing. And then I get done, and I look at him, and I say, I was writing an email and concentrating on what I was writing. How many times have I asked you to please come in and just wait a second so I could finish that thought? Now, instead of it being a battle, because I used to get so pissed, like, you cannot come in talking. I'm in the middle of that doesn't do any good. So we've switched. So now it's more of like a dick thing that I do, where I'm like, I told you that if you come in and I'm writing, then I'm not listening to what you said, so you just wasted your whole breath. He'll be like, damn it, I did it again, right? So we have a different dynamic. He doesn't take that and like get all pissed off. Somebody will hear me say that, be like, oh my God, you talk to him like that? Fuck yeah, I do. Because I already did the nice thing by saying, listen, if I'm writing and you come in, I'm not hearing you, and I want to be able to hear you and engage. But if I'm writing a sales page or an email, I can't stop in the middle of that thought because I can't remember where I was going. Then it's not as powerful, and then it irritates the fuck out of me because I can't continue to write my fucking thought that I had, and then I have to change pace, and then the email's disconnected or whatever. So it really stresses me out and pisses me off, right? So we've already had that conversation. So when we get back to it and he keeps doing it, now I get to be an asshole, right? That's how I see it. I'm not usually an asshole. It depends. Because sometimes he'll do it, 5 or 6 times in an hour period. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Oh, my fuck. You need to leave me alone. I am writing a sales page. Write it down. We've got to talk about it later. I can't do this right now. Right? So, and then sometimes he'll just come in and tell a whole fucking story. But generally, for my relationship, Daniel wants me to look at something that I give no two fucking shits about. I don't give a fuck about the president. I don't give a fuck about political shit. Half the shit he finds funny is not funny to me. So he's usually interrupting me for something that I could give a fuck less about. So that's also a big irritant. Because he wants me to take interest in things that are funny to him. So he'll say, oh, well, I just thought you would think it was funny. No, you didn't. No, you didn't think that I was going to think that it was funny. Because I don't think that kind of shit's funny. You think that kind of shit's funny, and you fucking interrupted my work, right? So you guys have to find that common ground, and he still does it. He still has not been able to train himself to realize that if I'm working to stop. I would say 50% of the time, if I'm in a thought, he stops. And, oh, I'll wait for a second, and waits for me to finish it out, right? And then out of respect, I'll get to a stopping point and then talk to him. And then the other 50% of the time, he's like, I have this TikTok I want to show you. I don't give a fuck about what that TikTok is right now, right? So you have to find that balance of how you can respect each other in those times. All right, so let's see what you guys are saying. So Janice says, I keep mine face down when I'm in conversation with my friends or Mike. Leah Morgus, which is the wife to the husband I was talking about, says he puts it face down so he doesn't look at it. I put mine in the diaper bag so I don't see it, right? Janice says, I swear every man I know does this. Hi, Alishia. Tammy says, LOL, every single day at work, staff walk up and expect me to just stop and take care of their issues. They don't even say, excuse me, or do you have a minute? Then I'm reported for being rude. Janice says, holy shit, our husbands are alike. Celia says, yes, I tell my hubby one of these days I'm getting a tattoo of a switch just to shut him the fuck up. I love it. I love it. Nitra says, Matt gets pissed and says, never mind. Good, go pout. See, I'm an asshole, though. I'd be like, good, go pout. Serves you right when I'm in the middle of trying to work and you want to come talk about stupid shit. I'm an instigator, though. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Oh my God. If Daniel was any more aggressive, I don't even know if this would work. I crack myself up. No, like, that's the thing, though, too. I know this has kind of gotten off on automatic programming, but you have to learn what your weaknesses are, right? We have to learn what our weaknesses are. And I don't mind confrontation, so I'm willing to be a little bit more bully, right? But just because I don't mind confrontation doesn't bother me. Like, I'm a throwdown sort of person. You want to fucking throw down? Let's go, right? My only thing about throwing down is I don't want to break a nail because they hurt like a son of a bitch. So it has to be really worth it. I'm just kidding, but not really. You have to realize what your weaknesses are so you can work through these things. But again, I really feel that this applies because if you're in the middle of doing something or they're in the middle of doing something and you start talking, you're training your subconscious mind to do what you're doing and listen to them at the same time, which again creates that automatic programming that causes stress and pain. And when I was talking about pain in the description of this, I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about emotional pain. All right. So keep that in mind. It causes pain, right? It causes the fight because you're subconsciously listening. It causes issues because you're not paying attention. That's why it's important that you have those conversations of, you have to respect the time. Now, here's the deal, though. Let me be real about this, since we kind of went into relationships. If you're doing something fucking stupid, then stop. Mine is generally finishing out a thought. If I'm fucking scrolling Facebook, I'm gonna stop. If I am, not usually if I'm texting a friend back. If I'm texting somebody back, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not going to end this thought process and conversation to shift to you because now I'm not going to remember what I wanted to say. So if I'm writing, I usually don't stop. Sometimes I'm reading. So if I'm reading, I don't stop. But if I'm doing something mindless, I do. So consider that there's always those balances as well. But just building that respect factor is going to be huge. And I would encourage you that, you know, when you're hanging out in a group of people, you really need to retrain yourself to not be on your phone, to not be disconnecting from the conversation, to mindlessly scroll or to check email or to do these random things. Because one, it tells the people that you're with that they're not important, the conversation's stupid, whatever. But two, you're really strengthening your subconscious mind, the programming that's going on for your subconscious mind to take random action and do whatever the fuck it wants to do. And then all of a sudden you're like, why the hell did I do that? That's because you strengthened up your subconscious mind. It's just doing whatever the fuck it wants to do. Janice says, I could see why this would help with communication. All right, so I want you guys to shout out in the comments here, what is your number one takeaway from today's training? What was something that you learned that was new? It was an aha moment for you that you are going to apply going forward. Yesterday, we talked about the different perspective of, you know, venting and putting yourself out there, but then not accepting the help. If you did not watch yesterday's Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do that because it's definitely going to help you and make a world of difference. And then I can't remember what tomorrow's is. I should have looked. Oh, wait, maybe it's on my notepad on my computer. All this stuff is supposed to be fucking connected, but half the time it's not. It's something awesome. No, it is not on here. Somebody said something. Jenna says, I started saying, let me just finish this one paragraph, thought, etc., and then give him my attention. I think I trained him unknowingly that what he had to say was more important. And that makes sense too, right? Like, you could unknowingly have said, oh, you know, I'm just going to stop every single time you talk, like the fucking world revolves around you and I don't have any fucking anything else that's more important at some times. And I think that some people would be like, oh my God, Alishia, that's so rude. Your husband is the most important person in the world. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not always. It's not always like that. So that inadvertent statement that you made, Jenna, is so true, because it's like, if you were always the type that would drop everything, be like, oh, what did you need? I've never been that kind of person. So, but I could get how that could cause, like, what you need to say, what you're doing, what you need is more important than whatever the fuck I'm doing right now. Jenna also says, yeah, that you taught him that what he has to say is more important than what you're doing at the time. It makes sense. Like, how the hell did you know that? I got you, girl. Okay. All right. So I caught up with everybody's comments. Mary says, I took my nieces and nephews out for ice cream and they all got on their phones. I told them to put them away. Then the one nephew told his dad I was being mean. So that's also funny. So my friend Calvin also made fun of me because I make my kids... This dude's doing construction and he's like whipping the fucking bowl thing around like a crazy person. Sorry, it distracted me. I thought he was gonna like slam it into the back of the truck. I make my kids turn in their phones at 7 p.m. So I was like, did you guys turn in your phones? And he goes, what does that mean? I was like, they have to turn their phones in at 7 p.m. every day. Whoa, you're a mean mom. I'm like, oh, hell no. You're not sleeping with these fucking phones. No, you're not going to stay up all night doing whatever the hell you want. Turn it in at 7. That's me. All right, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'll be back tomorrow. I can't remember tomorrow's topic, but it's awesome. So show your ass up, and we are going to talk about whatever, and it'll be great. So just remember to say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. Give yourself some grace and progress, not perfection. Be sure to comment what your number one takeaway is and something that you learned from this training. Bye.